So, hey, all right. We had our first class yesterday, and just getting around to getting these done this morning, burning off some comp time. 15 days due to travel, got to get rid of, so nearing the end of year, so here we go as usual. It's the same story as always. But anyway, so glad to have everybody there. Remember, your commitment to learning a new language is absolutely phenomenal, and I could not be prouder, so... Again, each one of our classes is just going to be kind of doing the yucky half of the formalities, just going through some of the grammar and other things, and then we'll get into the more useful stuff that we can use. Class 1 is always going to be a little bit boring because we've got to kind of get to the nuts and bolts so we can begin to formulate those other things that we can use while we're shopping or dining or what have you. So here you have it. Let's go ahead and get started. So again, as a review, this is your get out of jail free card. I handed everybody one of these. If you haven't gotten one yet, or if you want one, just get with me. I'm happy to get you more. But again, the statement it goes as such. Es tut mir so leid, aber ich bin neu in Deutschland und mein Deutsch ist sehr hässlich. Hässlich. Remember that A with the umlaut. That's an sound like a short E would be. So, hässlich. Right? So, es tut mir so leid, aber ich bin neu in Deutschland und mein Deutsch ist sehr hässlich. And the more emphasis you place on hässlich, the better, because that's just adds to the comedy of it. And when you say something like this, you begin your conversation with something like this as you're learning. It will certainly break the ice, makes it a lot better, makes it a lot easier. They're laughing, generally speaking, because it is kind of a funny way to say that you don't speak very good German. So, again, just a reminder that Germans are super compounders of words. So, again, like a waste management center is literally the Abfallwirtschaftszentrum. And so look at that word though for a second. Abfallwirtschaftszentrum. All right? It means that, Abfall, right? Trash. Wirtschaft, right? It's people coming together. The Zentrum, right? The center. It makes sense if you're a native German speaker, but if you're not a native German speaker, it can be somewhat daunting. And again, how I made up my own German word for a taco shell, a parabolically shaped disc made of crushed corn, right? That's what it seems like it would be. But this is just me being impertinent, so just for effect. Remember, the 26 letters in English are the same in German. It's just that we have an additional 4 extra characters. That's the scharfes S, oder, the SZ. Now, oder means or, right? So the SZ, oder, scharfes S, und die A-Umlaut, U-Umlaut, und O-Umlaut. And they have their own sounds, right? It moves into diphthongs. So again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So you might want to pause and go through them like that for me, just in the interest of saving time. We have the K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, and the U, V, W, X, Y, Z. And again, our 4 special characters, the Z, oder scharfes S, A-Umlaut, O-Umlaut, and the U-Umlaut. Remember the I and E and the E and I combinations. It's kind of a simple rule. You take the second vowel in this particular set and you go with the long sound, which is why we see road signs here for, in Rheinland Pfalz, here at Ramstein and in the Kaiserslautern military community. You'll see signs when you get up on the A6, the A6, on your way to Wiesbaden. If you were going to work, I'm going to Arbeit. Arbeit. See, so Arbeit, the EI takes the long I. I.e. in Wiesbaden takes the long E. So, yeah, just got to kind of memorize that. Now remember, the EU combination is an OI, right? Like we call a euro in English, right? But in American English, but it's an euro, right? So, and we're here in Europa, so in Europe. The EU, Deutsch, right? It makes a toy sound, similar to this. Well, I'm using those mathematical characters there. Those symbols mean, it's just similar to. Depends on dialect and what part of the country you're in when you're hearing it. The AI, AY, EI, and EY all make an I sound. So Mainz, Haydn, Einstein, Abseits. And the AU is an OW, right? So auch means also, as well. And so, like, if you were to say if you were going to tell someone that I love you, which is not a common thing to say. I think we say that an awful lot in the States, particularly. Oh, I love you. You're so amazing. You probably wouldn't hear that much here. We can be very hyperbolic, Americans specifically, right? Oh my God, it was epic. It was epic. It was, oh my God, it was so awesome, kind of a thing. You won't hear that so much in Europe, Germany especially. But if you wanted to say, I love you, ich liebe dich. Ich liebe dich, right? I love you. And if somebody said that to you and you felt likewise, or in German, gleichweise, you would say, ich liebe dich auch. Auch means also, me. So, ich liebe dich auch. Critical to understand is your pronunciation has to be very, very clear, especially on words that are very similar sounding. Let's look at the word während. Während, it means during, versus während, which means resisting. So während, two different words. You need to be very focused on your diction. So während. So keep those types of things in mind. Again, basic German. We're going to get to more complicated stuff as we grow together, but this is some of the stuff that I think can be pitfalls right up front. Du oder sie. All right. Remember, when you're speaking to someone, the you comes in two forms there, right? So it's du oder sie. Du is someone that you're familiar with, friendly with, and familiar, meaning, like family, etc. You know them. Sie, you may know them, but maybe it's your boss. Maybe it's somebody important. It's going to depend on the relationship you have with that individual. Once you get to know them, you can ask them a simple question. Du oder sie? That's all you have to say to them. Du oder sie? Du oder sie? That gives them the opportunity to then tell you, well, no, nein, ich bin sie. Oder du, natürlich, du. Give them that choice. It is not considered insulting. It is not a thing if somebody were to tell you, oh no, you must call me Z. It's not an issue. It's not like they're somehow feeling like they're being a jerk to you or something about that. So just keep that in mind. I mean, it's very straightforward. German people can be very blunt, but I don't think anything is really meant by it. At all, really. You'll know if somebody means something negative. So again, just a little practical comment, exercise here. So, du oder sie. How would you address this individual, right? Du oder sie. I mean, I hope this guy behind bars who's got a gun drawn on him is saying sie. Obviously, you come into some rank, right? You're going to want to be highly respectful, but don't let that be a deterrent to common sense, because even this person is going to be Z until you get to know them, become familiar as either a peer or as their superior. And that's kind of it's a rough language, isn't it? The superior, but their leader, right? Their supervisor, manager, etc. So looking at the verb to be, all right, in German, right? So this is it, and we're just going to use, tired, right? So for I, it's ich. For you, you have two options. You have du again, right? Or sie, depending on your relationship and how well you know someone. A she is also a sie. He is an er. It is es. We, wir, and you all, or y'all, as we say in the American Southwest, or yous, that you'll say up in the Northeast, is ihr. So going through those examples, ich bin müde. Remember that u mit umlaut is an sound, right? So ich bin müde. Du bist müde. Sie sind müde. Sie ist müde. Now watch that verb conjugation, right? So when you're talking to somebody formally, sie sind, right? Versus if you're talking about a female, now all of a sudden, whereas she, so sie ist müde, right? He ist müde. It, right? Es ist müde. Wir sind müde. You might say that if you come off of a long road trip with all your friends, Oh, wie geht's? Oh, wir sind so müde. I'm so tired. We're all so tired, right? Or y'all, right? Hey, you guys just got back from a long road trip. Ihr seid müde, right? So ihr seid müde. So, greetings, or grüße, right? And sorry about the little Geppetto guy here, but he was the best free image I could find. And I, even as an artist, didn't want to sit down and actually illustrate a German folk character. Why not just use Geppetto? Hello becomes hallo, hallo. And again, in Germany, they can be very friendly about that. Hallo, right? Very friendly about hello and goodbye. Tschüss. When everything else is just kind of low and drones and it's cold and we're miserable and blah, 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 which kind of is the joke, but nevertheless, they're actually pretty happy people once you get to know them. So stereotypes aside, Germans can be quite fun to be around. My name is Christopher. Mein Name ist Christopher. And that's a very Germanic word. It's an ancient name. I love my name. I'm so glad I do love my name. I can't imagine being somebody that I would hate to be. But mein Name ist Christopher. I do tend to, and I would recommend researching what your name is in another language. For example, my sister in America, it's Tiffany. But as my Oma used to always call her Tiffany. And that's her name in Germany. Tiffany becomes Tiffany. And so you might want to research that, and whenever you're going to go visit a different country, find out how they actually address your name, unless you have a very unique original name like a lot of Americans do. But just take a look at that, and you might want to then modify your statement as to, what my name is. In France, I refer to myself as Je m'appelle Christophe, or I will say Je suis Christophe. I'll refer to myself as Cristoforo when I am in Italy, Cristobal in España, or Mexico, or Texas, Cristobal. I don't really care for the shortened version of my name. Chris is always so, I don't know. My mother didn't name me Chris, so I'm kind of stick with Christopher. I like it. It's 2 extra syllables. Just spit it out. Be nice to me, please. What is your name? Wie heißen Sie? You see that sharpest S in the middle of the word heißen, right? So wie heißen Sie? That would be on the informal, wie heißt du, right? And these conjugations, these relationships will slowly kind of start making sense to you. Wie heißen Sie? Wie heißen Sie? How's it going? Is wie geht's? Wie geht's? Wie geht's? And we do have several variations on that. You'll hear an awful lot of different ways people will ask, how's it going, what's up, how you been, etc. So just be familiarizing yourself with these terms. For example, these variants can be for how's it going, how have you been, what's going on, hi, hello, what's up, and then just another hello. From wie geht's? Wie geht es dir? Was ist los? Hi. Another one's hard ones to translate. Hi becomes hi. And then, you got this Hallöchen, was geht? Hallöchen, was geht? You will hear that here in Rheinland Pfalz. More likely to hear it down in Baden-Württemberg, Heidelberg area, whatnot. You'll also hear some of that Swiss Franco influence. The closer you get to the Alps, you'll hear salut, salut, right? So again, it just means hello. And you respond the same way. Salut, salut. And I always add that high voice because it seems to be a thing, hello. And then everything gets kind of low here. When in Rome, right? When in Rome. Other variants have, good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night. And that would be guten Morgen, schönen Tag, guten Nachmittag, guten Abend, and gute Nacht. Remember, it's not guten Nacht, it's gute Nacht. And something it's not like the French, where, if you end one word with a vowel and the next one is a consonant, that they kind of blend together, right? Je suis désolé. Et nous essayons d'éviter cela à tout prix. They kind of, if there's something, if there's another S that follows the other, it kind of rolls together. Et nous essayons. But it's not like that in Germany, because you do have guten Nachmittag, and then you have gute Nacht, both of them starting with and having an N for the next word, but it's still guten Nachmittag. Nach means like mid, kind of midway, so to speak. Mid Nachmittag. Nach takes on other meanings, and we'll get into those later. But nevertheless, guten Nachmittag, guten Abend, and then gute Nacht, Nacht. That CH sound there is a lot of that, right? It's a little bit harsher than the French or the restaurant, right? It's gute Nacht, right? If you're from Scotland or you have a spouse or friends from that are Scottish, you'll hear a lot of that, and it's pretty easy for them to replicate that sound. So let's go over here to maybe some happy variants to respond to how's it going, how have you been doing. You'll see over here, and again, I have the Union Jack up for the English language, not the American flag, just in case anybody's feeling somewhat jingoistic about it. Remember, English did not come from America. So I'm well, and you? Mir geht es gut, und du? If you know them, right? Well, that's why I threw in I'm well, and you, sir, would be mir geht es gut, und Sie, mein Herr, und Sie, mein Herr? The same thing, I'm well, and how are you, ma'am? Or that's how we refer. In English, we kind of break down madame, right? Madam. So ma'am. I'm well, and you, ma'am? Mir geht es gut. Und Sie, madame? Mir geht es gut. Und Sie, madame? Super. And how about you? Super. Right? Super. Und was ist mit dir? Und was ist mit dir? And what is with you? Okay, if we're going to break it down that way. Life's great. And you? Das Leben ist großartig. Großartig. Und du? So that großartig, again, you've got that scharfes S, that SZ there in the center of that, right? Großartig. Now, people will say großartig, and that's totally fine. In fact, I don't really have any rhyme or reason why I'll have some G's are hard and when I'm speaking, and some G's are soft like that. I just do. And so no explanation for it. It's just the slang I picked up from my grandmother, from various friends. the way I learned the word. I also took, we grew up with German in the house, but I still took 4 years of German during undergraduate. I wanted to explore the more scholarly approach to the language, etc. And so I know I picked up various habits from there as well. The most important thing is to remember your diction and to make sure that you're being clear. And doing everything you can that your pronunciation is just on the mark. That way you can be clear, regardless of what slangy intonations you might bring to the table. And here, let's just, as you'll see here, we've got the little frowny face at the bottom. So, I'm so busy. Ich bin so beschäftigt. So, ich bin so beschäftigt. Beschäft. Remember that A with that umlaut there. Beschäftigt. If that wasn't there, it would be beschäftigt. So, no, I'm not sure if that's a word. I have to look that up. But beschäftigt is busy. I'm not feeling that great. Ich fühle mich nicht so toll. Just not feeling that great. Ich fühle mich nicht so toll. Take the time to look at these words. Use your Google Translate or German English dictionary, etc. But understand. Try to start to really understand understand the meaning of each word, right? And in the order that it's going in the sentence, because it can be very confusing. But if you learn, for example, ich fühle mich nicht so toll, and you know that toll means great, you just know that's just great, when somebody shows you something that's really cool and you can't quite remember how to put that sentence together, oh, das ist so, just say toll, right? I mean, just like we would say in English, cool, right? Awesome, right? So to speak. Epic, right? It's only in American English do we do that. But just remember those words, because sometimes you'll have a decent conversation with just one or two words, right? It's going. How are you feeling? Well, I'm feeling a little sad. So if you want to be Debbie Downer and actually admit that to someone, that's fine. We need to reach out and make sure that we're communicating, letting everybody know. It's one of our HRO principles, which is sensitivity to operations, right? Clear, open communications with one another. So be honest. Cry for help. I am feeling a little sad. Ich bin ein bisschen traurig. You'll see I did not say traurig. I said traurig. Get me to explaining why. That's just how I've learned the word. I am feeling a little sad. Ich bin ein bisschen traurig. You could even say, how are you feeling? If somebody say, how's it going? What do you do? You could just simply ask, ein bisschen traurig. Ein bisschen traurig. You can just say that. Again, we're not talking about formal communication, email, a written letter, etc. You can just say ein bisschen traurig until you get your sentence structures down. Look at that word bisschen, right? It's bisschen, okay? That's when you have those two S's there, and it's not a scharfes S, right? Or an SZ. Ich bin ein bisschen traurig. And how's it going? I don't like the rain. I hope that's not how you feel, because you'll be miserable here in Europe, especially if you go up to the UK often, like I do. Ich mag den Regen nicht. Ich mag den Regen nicht. And so, ich mag, right? I like, right? Ich mag den Regen. And by the way, learn the articles. Learn your definite articles and your indefinite articles when you learn each new noun. Just memorize them with them, right? Die, der, das, dem, den. Oh my gosh, there's so many. So, ich mag den Regen nicht. So you're saying, I like the rain not, right? And that's part of that sentence structure that you need to start looking into. It's just too cold. Es ist einfach zu kalt. Es ist einfach zu kalt. Es ist einfach zu kalt. And lastly, as we are learning to say goodbye to one another, it was nice to meet you. It was good to see you. It was nice getting to know you. Have a nice day. See you and bye can be summed up, over here under the German tricolor as Es war schön, schön, that O with the umlaut, right? Es war schön, dich zu treffen. Treffen means to meet, right? You'll see Treffpunkt at the airport, in German airports. You'll see Treffpunkt, especially the large ones like Frankfurt. You can just say, ja, ich bin an der Treffpunkt hier. Die Treffpunkt ist die. You can just say that if you're talking to somebody so you can, meet. They're coming out of security, getting in through customs, whatnot. Where are you at? I'm at the Treffpunkt in Terminal A, in Terminal A. And so, es war schön, dich zu treffen. Es war gut, dich zu sehen. Sehen. Es war schön, dich kennenzulernen. Kennenzulernen. Einen schönen Tag noch. You'll hear that an awful lot here. Schönen Tag noch. You'll just hear that. Schönen Tag noch. Nice day now. See you. Mach's gut. Which means make good. Make it good. And of course, you'll hear an awful lot of ciao here. It's not just the proximity to Italy, which is about a 5-hour drive away. It's not that far, but it's just very popular usage in Europe to say ciao or ciao ciao, and you can say it for hello or goodbye, like aloha, right? Aloha, 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 aloha. And next week, as we decided in class, via our vote, we are going to learn how to dine, and we'll be talking about foods and ordering and how to listen to waiters, and we'll be hitting into our numbers. We've got to go through and look at our numbers. That'll be the yucky part. The first half of next week will be the yucky part of actually getting in and understanding the numbers and how they work, sound, how we count, and that kind of thing. So then we'll get to the good stuff, ordering wine and, which wine you want, dry, sweet, half sweet, etc., red or white, and so on and so forth. What the various cuts of meat might be that you'll see on a menu, Vorspießen, what's appetizers and so on and so forth, different soups and whatnot. So we'll probably take the whole hour next week, and I'll be stopping by to get us a new classroom, a new conference room for probably next Tuesday at noon, since Monday's a family day. Otherwise, I hope this has been helpful. I would recommend getting YouTube Premium so you don't have to watch any ads, and that way you can download these and listen on your way to work or coffee break or what have you. As always, it's a real pleasure, and I could not be prouder of everyone for taking this opportunity to learn such a complicated and daunting language. But it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time together. All right. Cheers.